And I'm live. Okay. So a bit of a weird moment just happened. As I was walking for my Google. Actually, I'm not really sure. It just kind of felt like a movie for a second because in movies, like there's always like wind that blows the page of a book to a specific number, and it's like always something random, but it turns out to be beneficial. This just went. So my fan, as I was walking, turned 303 pages exactly to Second Kings 6, chapter 6, verse 13 through Second Kings chapter 8, verse 2. So I don't really think I probably doesn't have any meaning, but that just felt really weird for a second. And 40 I've already wasted about 50 seconds, so let's get started. Leviticus. Okay, I actually might take about a minute. Tomorrow I'll be finishing. So depending on how long it takes tomorrow, I might film. Leviticus is only 27 chapters, but I read 4 chapters a day. And in Genesis, I only read the last 2 chapters to finish Genesis. But for this, I might read the first chapter of Numbers because I want to get Numbers over with. But if it's already taking a long time, I might not. But I'm going to go ahead and get started with Leviticus chapter 21. I'm going to be reading through 24. The holiness of the priest. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to Aaron's sons, the priest, and tell them, a priest is not to make himself ceremonially unclean for a dead person among his relatives, except for his immediate family, his mother, father, son, daughter, or brother. He may make himself unclean for his unmarried virgin sister and his immediate family. He is not to make himself unclean for those related to him by marriage, and so defile himself. Priests may not make bald spots on their heads, shave the edge of their beards, or make gashes on their bodies. They are to be holy to their God and not profane their name by God, for they present the fire offering to the Lord, the food of their God, and they must be holy. They are not to marry a woman defiled by prostitution. They are not to marry one divorced by her husband, for the priest is holy to his God. You are to consider him holy, since he presents the food of your God. He will be holy to you, because I, the Lord, who sets you apart, am holy. If a daughter defiles herself by promiscuity, she defiles her father, she must be burned to death. The priest who is highest among his brothers, who has had the anointing oil poured on his head, and has been ordained to wear the clothes, he must not dishevel his hair or tear his clothes. He must not go near a dead person to make himself unclean, even for his father or mother. He must not leave the sanctuary, or he will desecrate the sanctuary of his God. For the concentration of the anointing oil of his God is on him. I am the Lord. He is to marry a woman who is a virgin. He is not to marry a widow, a divorced woman, or one defiled by prostitution. He is to marry a virgin from his own people, so that he does not corrupt his bloodline among his people, for I am the Lord who sets him apart. Physical defects and priest. The Lord spoke to Moses. Tell Aaron and none of your descendants throughout your generations who has a physical defect is to come near to present the food of his God. No man who has any defects is to come near. No man who is blind, lame, facially disfigured, or deformed. No man who has a broken foot or hand, who or who is a hunchback or dwarf, or who has an eye defect, a festering rash, scabs, or crushed testicle. No descendant of the priest of Aaron who has a defect is to come near the present the fire of offerings to the Lord. Has he defect, and is not to come near the present of the food offering for his God. He may eat the food of his God from what is especially holy, as well as from what is holy. But because he has a defect, he must not go near the curtain or approach the altar. He is not to desecrate my holy places, for I am the Lord who sets them apart. Moses said to Aaron and his sons and to all the Israelites. Okay, this is chapter 22. Priest and their food. The Lord spoke to Moses. Tell Aaron and his sons to deal respectfully with the holy offerings to the Israelites that they have consecrated to me, so they do not profane my holy name. I am the Lord. Say to them, if any man from your descendants throughout your generations is in a state of uncleanliness, yet approaches to the Lord, that person must be cut off from my presence. I am the Lord. No man of Aaron's descendants who has a skin disease or discharge is to eat from the holy offerings until he is clean. Whoever touches anything made unclean by a dead person, or a man who has emission of semen, or whoever touches any swarming creature that makes him unclean, or any person who makes him unclean, whatever is uncleanliness, the man who touches any of these will remain unclean until evening, and is not to eat from the holy offerings unless he is bathed in his body with water. When the sun is set, he will become clean, and then he may eat from the holy offerings, for that is his food. He must not eat an animal that died naturally or was mauled by wild beasts, making himself unclean by it. I am the Lord. They must keep my instruction, or they will be guilty and die because they profane it. I am the Lord who sets them apart. No offering outside the priest's family is to eat the holy offering. A foreigner saying the priest or hired worker is not to eat the holy offering. But if a priest purchases someone with his own silver, that person may eat it, and those born in his household may eat it. If the priest's daughter is married to a man outside the priest's family, she is not to eat from the holy contributions. But if the priest's daughter becomes widowed or divorced, has no children, and returns to her father's house as in her youth, she may share her father's food. But no outsider may share it. If anyone eats holy offering in error, he is to add a fifth to its value and give the holy offering to the priest. The priest must not profane the holy offerings that Israel ought to give to the Lord by letting people eat their holy offerings, and having them bear the penalty of restitution, for I am the Lord who sets them apart. I accidentally hit a key on my keyboard. I want to make sure I didn't mess anything up. Acceptable sacrifices. The Lord spoke to Moses. Speak to Aaron, his sons, and all of the Israelites, and tell them, any man of the house of Israel or the resident aliens of Israel who present his offering, whether they present payment or vows or free will gifts to the Lord as burnt offering, they must offer unblemished male from the cow, sheep, or goats in order to be accepted. You are not to present anything that has a defect because it will not be accepted on your behalf. When a man presents a fellowship sacrifice to the Lord to fulfill a vow, or as a free will offering from the herd or flock, it has to be unblemished to be acceptable. There must be no defect in it. You are not to present an animal to the Lord that is blind, injured, maimed, or has a running sore, festered rash, scabs. You may not put any of them on the altar as a fire offering to the Lord. You may sacrifice a free will offering, any animal from the herd or flock that has an elongated or stunted limb, but if it is not acceptable as a vow offering, you are not to present it to the Lord anything that has bruised, crushed, torn, or severed testicles. You must not sacrifice them in your land. Neither nor a foreigner are you to present food to your God from any of these animals. They will not be accepted for you because they are deformed and have a defect. The Lord spoke to Moses. When an ox, sheep, or goat is born, it is to remain with its mother for 7 days. From the eighth day on, it will be acceptable as an offering, a fire offering to the Lord. But if you are not to slaughter an animal from the herd or flock the same day as its young, when you sacrifice a thank offering to the Lord, sacrifice it so you may be accepted. It is to be eaten on the same day. Do not let any of it remain until morning. I am the Lord. You are to keep my commands and do them. I am the Lord. You must not profane my holy name. I must be treated as holy among the Israelites. I am the Lord who sets you apart. The one who brought you out of the land of Egypt is to be your God. I am the Lord. Holy Days, chapter 23. The Lord spoke to Moses. Speak to the Israelites and tell them, these are my appointed times of the Lord that you will proclaim as sacred assemblies. Work may be done for 6 days, but on the seventh day there is to be a Sabbath of complete rest, a sacred assembly. You are not to do any work. It is a Sabbath to the Lord wherever you live. These are the Lord's appointed times. The sacred assemblies you are to proclaim at their appointed times. Passover to the Lord comes in the first month at twilight on the 14th day of the month. Festival unleavened bread to the Lord on the 15th day of the same month. For 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. On the first day you are to hold a sacred assembly. You are not to do any daily work. You are to present a fire offering to the Lord on 7 days. On the seventh day there will be a sacred assembly. Do not do any daily work. The Lord spoke to Moses. Speak to the Israelites and tell them, when you enter the land I'm giving you, reap its harvest, you are to bring the first sheaf of your harvest to the priest. They will present the sheaf before the Lord so it may be accepted. The priest is to present it on the day after the Sabbath. On the day you present the sheaf, you are to offer a year-old male lamb, without blemish, as a burnt offering to the Lord. Its grain offering is to be 4 quarts of fine flour mixed with oil as fire offering to the Lord. Pleasant aroma. And its drink offering will be 1 quart of wine. You must not eat bread roasted grain or any new grain till this very day, and until you have brought the offering to your Lord. This is going to be a permanent statute throughout your generations wherever you live. You're to count 7 complete weeks, starting from the day after the Sabbath, the day you brought the sheaf and the presentation offering. You're to count 50 days until the day after the seventh Sabbath, and then presents an offering of new grain to the Lord. Bring 2 loaves of bread. Wait, I lost. Give me a second. Bring 2 loaves of bread from your settlements as a presentation offering. Each of them made for 4 quarts of fine flour baked with yeast as its first fruits to the Lord. You represent them with bread, 7 unblemished male-year-old lambs, 1 offering to the Lord, with their grain offerings and drink offerings. A fire offering is a pleasing aroma to the Lord. You're also to prepare 1 male goat as a sin offering, and 2 male lambs as a year-old fellowship sacrifice. The priest will present the lambs with bread of first fruit as a presentation offering before the Lord. The bread and the 2 lambs will be holy to the Lord for the priest. On the same day, you are to make a proclamation and hold a sacred assembly. You are not to do any daily work. This is a permanent statute wherever you live throughout your generations. When you reap harvest of your land, you are not to reap all the way to the edge of your field or gather the gleanings of your harvest. Leave them for the poor and resident alien. I am the Lord your God. The Lord spoke to Moses. Tell the Israelites, in the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you are to have a day of complete rest, commemoration, and trumpet blast, a sacred assembly. You must not do any daily work, but you must present a fire offering to the Lord. The Lord again spoke to Moses. The 10th day of the 7th month, the day of atonement, you are to hold a sacred assembly and practice self-denial. You are to present a fire offering to the Lord. On this particular day, you are not to do any work, for it is the day of atonement, to make the atonement for yourselves before the Lord your God. If any person does not practice self-denial on this particular day, he is to cut off from his people. I will destroy among the people anyone who does any work on the same day. You are not to do any work. This is a permanent statute throughout your generations wherever you live. It is a Sabbath of complete rest for you, and you must practice self-denial. You are to observe your Sabbaths from the evening of the 9th day of the month till the fellowship following evening. The Lord spoke to Moses. Tell the Israelites, festival of shelters to the Lord begins on the 15th day of the 7th month and then continues for 7 days. There is to be a sacred assembly on the first day. You are not to do any work. To present fire offerings to the Lord for 7 days. On the 8th day, you are to hold a sacred assembly and present a fire offering to the Lord. It is a solemn gathering. You are not to do any daily work. These are the Lord's appointed times that you are to proclaim as sacred assemblies, or presenting fire offerings to the Lord, burnt offerings, and grain offerings. Sacrifices and drink offerings, each on its designated day. These are in addition to the offerings for the Lord's Sabbath, your gifts, all your vow offerings, and your free will offerings that you give to the Lord. You are to celebrate the Lord's festival on the 15th day of the 7th month for the 7 days after you gathered the produce of the land. There will be complete rest on the first day and complete rest on the 8th day. On the first day, you are to take product, majestic trees, palm fronds, grass, a jelly leaf of leafy trees, and willows of the brook, and rejoice before the Lord your God for 7 days. It is celebrated as a festival to the Lord 7 days each year. It is a permanent statute for you throughout your generations. Celebrate in the seventh month. You are to live in shelters for 7 days. All the native born of Israel must live in shelters, so that your generations may know that I made Israelites live in the shelters when I brought them out of the land of Egypt, so I am the Lord your God. So Moses declared the Lord's appointed times to the Israelites. That's a lot of words. I'm watching the live stream right now just for a second because I'm about to go chapter 24, and it's speeding up all a second and slowing down, and it's just going crazy. There's red dots at the top flashing. I don't know. I'm not sure how much is gonna stay in the actual thing. Let's get started in chapter 24. Tabernacle, oil, and bread. The Lord spoke to Moses. Command the Israelites to bring you pure oil from crushed olives for the light, in order to keep the lamp burning regularly. Aaron is to tend continually from the evening until morning before the Lord outside the curtain of the testimony in the tent of meeting. This is a permanent statute throughout your generations. You must continually tend lamps on the pure gold lampstand in the Lord's presence. Take fine flour and bake it 12 loaves. Each loaf is made of 4 quarts. Arrange them in 2 rows, 6 to a row on the pure gold table before the Lord. Place pure frankincense near each row, so that it may serve as a memorial portion for the bread and fire offerings to the Lord. The bread is to be set out before the Lord. The bread is to be set out to the Lord every Sabbath day as a permanent covenant obligation on part of the Israelites. It belongs to Aaron and his sons. They are to eat it in a holy place, or as the holiest portion for him from the fire offering to the Lord. This is a permanent rule. Case of blasphemy. Now the son of Israelite mother and Egyptian father was among the Israelites. A fight broke out in the camp between the Israelite woman's son and the Israelite man. Her son cursed and blasphemed the name, and they brought him to Moses. His mother's name was Shelomith, a daughter of Deborah of the tribe of Dan, and they put him in custody until the Lord's decision can be made clear to them. Then the Lord spoke to Moses. Bring the one who is cursed to the outside of the camp, and have all who heard him lay their hands on their head. Then have the whole community stone him, and tell the Israelites, if anyone curses God, he will bear consequences of a sin. Whoever blasphemes the name of the Lord must be put to death. The whole community is to stone him. If he blasphemes his name, he is to be put to death. Whenever the resident alien or the native. If a man kills anyone, he must be put to death. Whoever kills an animal is to make a restitution for it, life for life. If any man inflicts a permanent injury on his neighbor, whatever he has done is to be done to him. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. If an injury inflicted on the person, the same is to be inflicted on him. Whoever kills an animal is to make restitution for it. Whoever kills a person is to be put to death. You are to have the same law for resident alien and the native, because I am the Lord your God. After Moses spoke to the Israelites, they brought the one who cursed outside of the camp and stoned him. So the Israelites did as the Lord had commanded Moses. So that's all for today. Going back just to make this real long as I say it. It starts out talking about the holiness of the priest and all the stuff they were doing for that. A lot of weird stuff too, or some weird stuff. Talking about and then also talked about the food that people could eat that are related to them, depending on they're married or widowed or have no kids, not keeping the bloodline straight, and then physical defects and how it relates back to the priest and all that. That's I'm just going too far. I have some more time to read through. So how I think it says. No one with the physical defects can be present of the fire offering to the Lord. Then it goes into priests and their food. I think this is the part. Or he can't get near people or whatever. can't make themselves unclean, and have no one outside the priest's families to eat the food. I think this is the part where it actually talked about the bread. I'm not really completely sure though. Trying to see it. Yeah, I think this is the food. And then it starts talking about acceptable sacrifices and then holy days. And then it just keeps on going along with that. And the tabernacle and the oil and bread. And then a case of blasphemy where the kid, he said he took God's name in vain. And a lot of time these days, people do that. And it makes me mad, but there's nothing I can do to stop it. But taking on, you're not supposed to take it. And so that kid got stoned for taking God's name in vain back then. And so no no man has the right to judge another man. So I'm not saying you're a bad person if you're taking God's name in vain. We all make mistakes sometimes, but if you don't even think of it as something bad, like with what happened these days, then it's easy to slip up. So sometimes we need to keep hold and make sure we're not taking God's name in vain. I guess that makes sense. So yeah, that's all for today. If you're not subscribed, I usually don't say this. Please subscribe. I really want to beat the algorithm and get this spread as many places as possible. I also want as many people to get a hold of this channel so that they can come to the Lord. But yeah, remember, God loves you. Goodbye.